the most profound of anecdotes, an anecdote that contains the essence of all the teachings. It's about old Fred. Maybe you can call him old Pierre. But old Fred was 93 years old, and he went to the doctors to ask the doctor, please, will you lower my sex urge? And the doctor laughed and said, old Fred, you're 93 years old. Your sex is all up here. And old Fred said, yes, I want you to lower it. Lower it. So the doctor laughed at him and gave him some Viagra and sent him on his way. So old Fred, on his walking stick, makes his way down to the red light district. And he comes to a house with a little shutter on its door, and he knocks on the door. And the little shutter opens, and a very gruff voice says, what do you want? And old Fred says, I want a woman. The shutter closes, and behind the shutter, all you could hear was laughter, guffawing. And then the shutter opened again, and the gruff voice says, you, old man, you've already had it. Old Fred said, how much do I owe you? Too late to translate. One day, the Buddha was returning from a town where he'd been begging, and he was looking for his beloved disciple, Ananda. But no one knew where Ananda was to be found, except one of the disciples came forward and said the last time that they had seen Ananda was when he was begging in a village that was inhabited by untouchables, those who are of the lowest caste. So the Buddha sent one of his disciples to find Ananda. And they found him in a certain house and called him back to the monastery. But when he came back to the monastery, he had in his company an old woman and her daughter. So when Ananda was relating to the Buddha what had happened to him, he explained that he had been begging in the town of untouchables, but on his way back to the monastery he had grown thirsty and stopped by a well. Just as one of the young untouchable maidens, a beautiful maiden, was drawing water from the well. So Ananda asked her for water, but she refused him, saying, "I am an untouchable. I cannot give water to a monk." And Ananda, of course, responded, saying, "I have no concern with your caste. I'm thirsty and would be glad to accept water from you." But this maiden was totally smitten by this handsome, gentle monk. And so she could think of nothing else. So when Ananda was coming by the well again, and she waited by the well every day for him, she invited him to her house, where her mother prepared a meal for him. Several times he was invited to this house, but after those several times he realized that the maiden had fallen in love with him, and so he did not accept an invitation from them again. But the maiden pined, she cried, she grew thin, she was unable to eat, and she told her mother that she would rather die than not have Ananda renounce his vows and marry her. Her mother was very angry with her, but she was worried for her daughter, who was growing thinner and thinner. And this mother, coming from this caste, knew certain herbal potions. So she made an aphrodisiac, and she begged Ananda to come to their house one more time, with the intention that she would give this potion to Ananda to make him fall in love with her daughter. Ananda accepted the invitation, thinking that he would be able to give teachings to the mother and her daughter, which would allow the daughter to no longer have this desire for him. But before he could commence his teachings, the mother gave him the tea, which had within it the potion, and he became giddy. He knew exactly what had happened, so he immediately sat down in lotus position and went into meditation. And this is where the disciple found him. So the Buddha turned to the young woman and asked, "What is it that you love about Ananda? Is it his eyes? Is it his nose? Is it his mouth?" she said, I love everything about him. My heart longs for him. I love everything about him. And the Buddha said to her, but don't you know that Ananda has a love that is greater than the love that we can see and perceive and feel, that includes the mouth, the eyes, the nose, the ears. All I know, she said, is that Ananda does not love me. Oh, said the Buddha, Ananda loves you, but the love that Ananda has transcends all human love. If you allow yourself to know the love that Ananda has, you will find peace, desirelessness. Oh, she said, how can I do this? And the Buddha said, if there is a gentle breeze and you contain it, it will soon die. But if you allow that breeze to flow, it will nurture and enrich all of life. Allow Ananda to have his love. Learn his love. Find peace. Become yourself a gentle breeze. This story is left with you with the question, what is this love? What is this love that transcends even the highest of human love, so-called unconditional love? What is this love? This question is given you to do its work. As all stories, they contain the secret. Find this love. Know this secret.